Hi, Ray here. I'm glad you could join me. Today I'm going to show how I scan film using a flatbed scanner. And I use the Epson Perfection V750 Pro, which has since been updated with the 850 that uses an LED light source. And that pretty much eliminates warm-up time, but there's nothing much else that would really encourage me to upgrade. In a previous video, I demonstrated how I use the same scanner with a wet scanning kit. And that process sandwiches film between this glass and a mylar sheet, using a suspension fluid to flatten the film, which ensures perfect focus and minimizes dust specks. And I'll link that video here. For 35mm film, I most often use this quick and easy method with stock film holders. And with the V750 Pro, it came with a number of film holders. I should say there are third-party holders reported to be sturdier than the supplied Epson ones, but the latest Epson iterations have also been improved. But again, I haven't experienced any great problem with those that came with the 750. And I should mention that the wet mounting kit doesn't come with the newer 850. It has to be bought separately. Anyway, with this 750 came the 35mm film holder, which I have in here. It also came with a holder for 35mm slides, and it also came with a holder for medium format for 4x5, and also a film guide for 8x10. But you will struggle with Newton rings with that method of using this right on the top of the flatbed. And also it comes with this insert for documents and prints. Adjusting the height of these is a little bit finicky. You adjust for focus with these little shims, but really in practical use I rarely need to adjust them. As far as the quality of these scans goes, you'll find other tutorials on YouTube that compare results from this scanner using different methods, and don't follow ones that suggest wet scanning right on the scanner glass. And you'll find comparisons with other scanners, including drum scans. The fact is, scanners like the Hasselblad Imacon FlexTite are not practical options at around $16,000 and are discontinued anyway. Drum scans generally are hard to access and even more out of reach if you wanted to buy one. Like, I don't think the average photographer is going to invest in a drum scanner, so you're going to be farming it out. So really, these scanners are the most practical for the enthusiast or pro who wants to scan film in-house. The workflow is pretty straightforward. The Epson scanners come with a free basic edition of Silverfast application, and I used it for a while, and it has some handy functions. But at the end of the day, for me, I have no enduring reason to not just use the basic Epson software. It has everything I need before I import the file into Photoshop for final editing. As I stressed with the wet scanning video, cleanliness at this stage will save you a lot of time spent spotting dust later. On launching the scanner, we have this interface, and the first thing that we need to do, here we can see we're in document mode. We want photo mode, and we're going to be on the transparency unit, which is basically the bed of the scanner. And yes, we're going to be using color negative film, so we choose that. 24-bit or 48-bit color. Why don't we go for 48-bit? And here, for 6400 DPI is usually what I choose for 35mm, so we'll leave that. And yeah, of course, why would we want anything but high scanning quality? So the first thing we do is a preview scan. And as I've mentioned, this scanner is a little bit slow to warm up, so I'll speed this up. So there's our preview scan, and that took about a minute. Just back here, I've chosen TIFF as my image format. Here, this will be the file name, and it defaults to the pictures folder here on my MacBook. You can select another folder that you want to put it in anywhere on your computer. We'll leave it here for now. I should also point out that this can also create thumbnails. I rarely use thumbnails, so I'm not going to go there, but it creates thumbnails of all the images that are loaded into the scanner here. So let's just, with a marquee, choose one of these. There we go. And now here we can zoom. Again, we get a preview. I'll speed this up again. This one won't take quite so long. That took all of about 15-20 seconds. So now we can refine our marquee here. Let's get the whole of this image, pretty much everything that's we can find. Now we could go into advanced settings here, and you can see here we've got just a general brightness, contrast, saturation. If we want to go into detailed adjustments, there's your image adjustment: cyan, magenta, yellow, RGB, tone correction, histogram adjustment. Generally, I find that what this application gives us is pretty much spot on. It's very good. If we wanted to, we could choose our inputs here in terms of shadow and highlights. There's our highlight here, probably in here somewhere. And so you see, I'm quite happy with what I got in the first place. And we've got unsharp mask. It defaulted to middle unsharp mask. I never use unsharp mask, very, very rarely. Color restoration does a pretty good job when you have faded negatives. You can have backlight correction if you got a lot of backlighting, dust removal, and grain reduction. I can't remember the last time I ever used any of these. I like to have a completely raw scan. So we'll just go ahead now and hit scan here. And incidentally, we can see the image size output here, 24.1 by 36.1 millimeters at a resolution of 6400 dpi. So let's scan. Again, I'll speed this up because this will take a minute or two. So there, that shows us now where we've got it in pictures here somewhere. Probably right here. So we can now go on to do bulk scanning if we wish. This is where we go back to our full display of our images loaded here, and we can actually here create, we can copy the selected marquee, we can delete the marquee, or we can select all and do a bulk scan. So that's how you would do that. Generally speaking, I don't do bulk scans because I'm not that brilliant that I get a great image on every single shot here. Often there's a lot of work to do because, as someone who shot film for decades, I still consider spotting to be part of creating a beautiful, unmarred image. And I find it amusing that there are filters designed to introduce faux dust and scratches to digital images. Just a final heads up, the scanner glass will become hazy over time on the inside of the unit. Luckily, access isn't difficult once you've pried out these little plugs. I leave them out now, and then it's just a matter of using a good ammonia-free glass cleaner. Thanks to a visitor to the wet scanning video for that tip. So that's how we do it. If you found this video useful, please give it the old thumbs up. And if you think you'd like to see more of this kind of thing, if you haven't, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. And check out some more of my content right here. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Cheers, and we'll see you in the next one.